Okay, welcome back everybody. Um, you saw in that last video the welcome back everyone. In that last video, we discussed the great diversity of projects that are actually produced by young people and uploaded to the Scratch community, where their peers from all over the world can look at them, modify them, and create their own new projects. So right now we're going to be looking at some of those projects, and many of these projects are classroom activities. So they were actually designed by a teacher for students to use Scratch, and they are in various subject areas. So they're in math, social studies, language arts, music, visual arts, science. So I'm going to show you some examples from all the disciplines right now. So when you go to Scratch, the Scratch website, which is scratch.mit.edu, right? It'll take you to this website. This is also the Scratch community. And you can see all these different projects uploaded. It looks very much like YouTube, right? With all the not videos, in this case, all the Scratch projects uploaded there. Now, in order to actually see a project, you have to have the URL, or you could just do a search. I happen to have the projects already opened up in different windows, so I'm just going to go straight to them. But just keep in mind, these all exist on that Scratch website in the Scratch community, so they're accessible by anyone with an internet connection. So let's explore how Scratch is being used to learn about math. So first, project right here is called Math Easy Multiplication. So whenever you see a Scratch project, the way you actually get it started is by hitting the Go button, which is this green flag. There's usually one at the beginning on this screen for the project. It's also up in the top left. Either one will do the same thing. So I click on it. We have this creature here that's going to be giving me a math multiplication, quiz. Hopefully it's going to be easy. Let's see, 3 times 3 is 9. I put that in. Click on the check mark to see. All right, I got it right. Why are you asking me 3 by 3 again? Just wants to make sure I know it. Hit 9, check mark. Well done. Okay, 4 times 5 is 20. Hit that. Well done again. Okay, 3 times 9 I believe is 27. Hit that. All right, let me try 6 times 5 is 30, but let me put in the wrong answer deliberately and see what happens. I'll put in 25. And it tells me I'm wrong, gives me the right answer. Okay, well, you get the idea. So basically, it's a math quiz. So keep in mind, these projects we're looking at were made by young people in response to a prompt from their teacher. So it's funny how like a lot of these projects, even though they're about learning math, are designed by the students to help other students learn math, right? So anyway, whenever you're in a Scratch project, you want to stop it, you just hit the stop button. All right, so let's go to the next one that explores math. Slope and intercept. So I don't remember my geometry very well. I think these are geometric terms. You math teachers out there can correct me. So I hit the green flag to start. I pick, once all the XY grid loads, I pick the Y slope and the Y intercept. Hit the button here. Wait a second, and Scratchy, and by the way, this is Scratchy or Scratch Cat, the mascot of Scratch. He loads into every Scratch project as your main character by default. He, just like the turtle we saw in that last video, leaves a line behind him, right? So I can do this again. I can change the slope and the intercept. Hit the button again and wait. There we go. So it's a visually engaging way to explore the concepts of slope and intercept, right? Let's stop that. We'll go to the next one, which is trigonometry. So exploring trigonometry, with Scratch. I hit that start button, and here we are. We have this form spinning in virtual space. I can explore the number of sides, the concept of having sides on a form, right? By increasing or decreasing them. So it helps me to visualize these trigonometric concepts. I can increase or decrease the edges, right? So it's a way to visualize in an interactive format these trigonometric concepts. Very engaging for young people, right? I'll stop that. And we'll move on to social studies. So here is a project where students were asked to look up someone of historical import and do a scratch project that explored their life, right? Unfortunately, I don't know how well you'll be able to hear the sound because of the way it has to be recorded, because the students did voice the sounds of the characters, but you will see, you'll at least visually be able to see it.
I feel like women's rights in society today just aren't justified.
Same here. We should have the same rights that men do.
Like what?
Like equal opportunities in job employment or education and just the right to express himself.
Yes, I completely agree. I think I'm gonna write a book about it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It's gonna talk about how domestic working women just don't have the role in society that they deserve. We should work outside and not stay home all day to be miserable. We deserve freedom.
What are you gonna call your book?
I'm gonna call it The Feminine Mystique.
It sounds good. I think it'll be brilliant.
So I'll end it there, even though it goes on for quite a while longer, telling the rest of Friedan's story and how she started the National Organization for Women. You can check it out, on your own time. A really good project. So here's another social studies project, the quiz show, social studies quiz show. So I'll start it up. Oh, I don't know what this is, so I'm just gonna type in any word, English. Oh, there you go, I learned something. Don't know. Taking a wild guess here, let's see. So obviously I did not study this material, so I don't know, but the hope would be if a student did study this material, they would get this all right. So again, project made in a classroom by a student, basically exploring the subject matter, making it meaningful for them because they are internalizing it as they're making a project out of it. All right, science. So here's one. Here's a project that explores climate change. So I started up, and essentially I used the back and forward arrows to go scroll through it, and I can learn some facts about climate change as I do that, right? So I'll go forward to the next screen. Right, I can read that. And I can decide if I need to go back and review that information that came before, I can do that, right? Or I can go forward, reread it again, and then go forward again at my own leisure, right? I can learn all these different facts about like how our own usage, our driving, leads to global warming. Learn about carbon footprints. And again, if I ever want to go back and review, I can do that by hitting the back arrow and then go forward, hitting the forward arrow. So I'm not going to do that one all the way to the end. You get the idea, right? All right, here's another one. A scratch project that explores the relationship between CO2 and average temperature every year over the past 2,000 years, right? And so you can see I can go to this project and I can actually change I believe what I'm doing is changing, again, I'm not a scientist, change the year and see how the different visualizations of that relationship present themselves, right? So I can also look about like when CO2, I can actually like look at the data for the CO2 maximum. So you can see that this is a really pretty sophisticated visual representation, so data representation. of this the relationship between these various phenomena that was made by a young person. So you can actually do really, or you or, one of your students can do really, really sophisticated projects that explore sophisticated, very complex phenomena if you or they so desire. Okay, here we're going to language arts now. So this is an example, as you can see in the text, of a book report for Harry Potter. In this assignment, students were asked to find obscure facts about a character in any book they desired and then animate those facts, right? So I'll play it so you can see. Oh, I guess I have to click on it to start. Oh, try that again.
Boomer add cat hair or backbone. Add 6 snake fangs. Add 2 dried billyrig stings. Add 2 sprigs of wolfsbane. Add 1 horned slug.
Mr. Weasley, you don't want to be making any mistakes, or it will be points from Gryffindor. I'll be watching you.
All right, so sorry about the technical glitches there. That's the one thing about Scratches, since it does exist on the web and it is programming based, you do every once in a while get a glitch. So sorry about that it didn't want to start right away. But anyway, you get the idea. Again, visualization, very engaging, a book report, but also like sort of it's a good prompt too, because it's asking students to find these sort of like unexpected or underexplored, obscure facts about various characters in the book. Here's a character that's very popular in a book that's very popular, Alice in Wonderland, some students actually created an animation to illustrate highlights from the book. We'll watch a little of it.
Goodness, what is that? A rabbit hole.
Again, I apologize if you can't hear this sound on your end. Haven't been able to figure that out.
That didn't hurt at all. A door. Whoa. Now what do I do?
Down the passage, the Mad Hatter.
Goodness, I don't want to meet anyone mad.
Okay, so we won't do the whole thing. It's quite long. It's actually sort of a mini movie. Let's go to physical education next. I quite like this one, and this one really does go on for a long time. It's essentially a whole workout routine all wrapped into one. You'll see. Let me play it. So, right, the idea is that it's interactive, physically interactive, along with it being, on the screen. So it's like the virtual meets the physical. And you'll see once the jumping jacks are done, we'll cycle on to the next exercise. There we go, run in place for 50 seconds. After that, I believe there's going to be crunches. There's going to be some, I don't remember, other kinds of stretches. I also it's very clever that they put in break time as well, right? So this is especially, I think, clever, being that, we are all at home now in the pandemic. So it's a wonderful way to have like a virtual gym class, right? So anyway, you get the idea. Let me move on now to music. So here is a virtual drum kit, right? This gets a little difficult. I actually used to play the drums many years ago, but I don't know if I have it anymore. So essentially you can see that each of these, let me start it, each of these drums has a different key on the keyboard that corresponds with it. So if I hit the space key, right, I get the bass drum. If I hit the V key, I get a snare. And if I hit the D key, I get the hi-hat. So let's see. All right, you get the idea. All right. And let's move on to cosmetic chaos, right? So this is from my own art class, so the art class room, and I use Scratch for students to explore social issues and do that in a fun and interactive way. So this student used that old game Frogger from back in the 1980s. And essentially you're a rabbit and you have to get across past all these, you're escaping from a cosmetic lab where they're experimenting on you to make makeup and hair products, and you got to get to the other side to get to the beautiful garden where you can get some rabbits, excuse me, where you can get some fresh carrots. So I did not do it. So again, exploring, cruelty to animals here. And then last one, Kid in Chicago, made by an African American student that I was working with, where you actually you can play as a boy or a girl, and you actually are making your way through 4 years of public high school in Chicago. You got to avoid all the bad stuff, drugs, guns, and abusive police, and collect all the good stuff like paintbrushes that represent learning art, cameras that represent learning photography, and microphones which represent learning music. So I'll play as the girl. There we go. And I want that. That's the microphone. That's drugs. Oh, I got the gun by accident. That's the paintbrush. I got past the officer who's harassing me over the gun. Paintbrush. Right. Got my A. So anyway, that goes on for all 4 years for quite a while, so I'm not going to do it all the way through. But you get the idea, exploring some really personal experiences and social issues using Scratch in the art classroom. So anyway, those are all the examples I have to show you right now. In the next video, you yourself are going to learn to use Scratch so that you can create Scratch projects in your classroom. See you then.